The Gold RC Era 1998-2004. Half-Life 1998 transformed first-person shooter design by integrating narrative progression directly into gameplay mechanics rather than separating story sequences from player agency. The game eliminated traditional cutscenes in favor of scripted sequences that maintained player control while advancing plot developments, establishing narrative immersion standards that influenced every subsequent story-driven shooter. Gordon Freeman's journey through Black Mesa demonstrated how environmental storytelling could replace exposition-heavy dialogue, using visual cues, overheard conversations, and interactive sequences to communicate complex scientific and military narratives without breaking player immersion. The technical foundation built upon a heavily modified Quake engine created the Gold SRT platform, which supported advanced scripted sequences, sophisticated AI behavior patterns, and seamless level transitions that eliminated loading screen interruptions during critical story moments. These technical achievements enabled narrative pacing that matched cinematic standards while maintaining the interactive freedom essential to effective first-person shooter gameplay. The game's influence extended far beyond immediate commercial success, establishing design principles that became foundational elements in modern narrative-driven action games. Team Fortress Classic 1999 represented Valve's first experiment with class-based multiplayer design, translating the community-created Team Fortress mod into a professionally developed standalone experience. The game featured 9 distinct character classes with specialized abilities, weapons, and movement characteristics that required team coordination for effective competitive play. Each class filled specific battlefield roles that complemented other team members while providing unique gameplay experiences that encouraged players to develop specialized skills across multiple playstyles. The technical implementation showcased Gold SRC engine capabilities for supporting large-scale multiplayer battles with distinct character models, animations, and weapon systems for each class. Network optimization allowed smooth gameplay across internet connections that were significantly less reliable than modern broadband infrastructure, establishing multiplayer networking standards that influenced subsequent Valve multiplayer projects. The game's success demonstrated market demand for team-based competitive experiences that required strategic coordination rather than individual skill alone. Counter-Strike 2000 established the tactical shooter subgenre through its elimination of respawning mechanics, economic weapon purchasing systems, and objective-based round structure that prioritized strategic planning over reflexive action. The game's 5 vs 5 team format created intense psychological pressure where individual deaths carried significant consequences for entire team success, fundamentally changing multiplayer shooter dynamics from arcade-style action to chess-like strategic thinking. Round-based progression with permanent death until the next round eliminated the casual experimentation common in other shooters, replacing it with careful tactical consideration of every movement, weapon choice, and engagement decision. The economic system introduced persistent consequences spanning multiple rounds, where successful performance earned currency for superior equipment while poor results forced teams to compete with inferior weapons and limited tactical options. This economic metagame added strategic depth that extended beyond individual round performance to encompass long-term resource management and team coordination. The buying system created natural gameplay rhythms where powerful equipment rounds alternated with economically constrained periods, ensuring varied tactical scenarios even within single matches. Ricochet 2000 explored arena combat mechanics through futuristic disc-based weapons and platform-jumping gameplay that emphasized movement prediction and projectile physics calculations. Players navigated elevated platform structures while hurling lethal discs that could eliminate opponents instantly through direct hits or by knocking them off platforms into the deadly void below. The game's unique movement system combined traditional first-person navigation with platforming elements that required precise timing and spatial awareness to avoid falling into the abyss. The technical implementation demonstrated Gold SRC engine flexibility for non-traditional shooter gameplay that prioritized physics-based projectile interactions over hitscan weapons, common in contemporary shooters. The disc weapons required players to predict opponent movements and account for projectile travel time, creating skill-based combat that rewarded accuracy and anticipation. Despite innovative mechanics, Ricochet failed to achieve lasting popularity compared to Valve's more conventional shooter offerings. Deathmatch Classic 2001 recreated traditional Quake-style arena shooter mechanics within the Gold SRC engine, providing fast-paced multiplayer combat focused on weapon collection, map control, and rapid movement techniques. The game featured classic weapons including rocket launchers, shotguns, and railguns that emphasized prediction-based aiming and movement skills rather than tactical coordination required by team-based shooters. Arena-style gameplay eliminated class restrictions and team affiliations, creating individual combat experiences where success depended entirely on personal skill development and map knowledge. The implementation served as both nostalgic tribute to earlier shooter design principles and technical demonstration of Gold SRK engine capabilities for supporting high-speed combat with multiple simultaneous players. Weapon balance encouraged aggressive gameplay through powerful area of effect explosives and instant kill precision weapons that rewarded both offensive aggression and defensive positioning. The game maintained relevance primarily among players seeking traditional arena shooter experiences that emphasized individual skill over team coordination. Day of Defeat 2003 adapted World War II combat scenarios into class-based multiplayer battles across historically inspired European battlefields, featuring period-accurate weapons, uniforms, and architectural environments. The game's class system emphasized specialized military roles including riflemen, machine gunners, snipers, and assault troops that required different tactical approaches and team coordination strategies. Objective-based gameplay focused on territory control and strategic positioning rather than elimination-focused combat, creating prolonged engagements that rewarded tactical planning and coordinated team movements. The technical implementation showcased Gold SR capabilities for larger-scale multiplayer battles with detailed environmental destruction, realistic ballistic physics, and period-accurate weapon behavior patterns. Historical authenticity extended beyond visual presentation to encompass weapon handling characteristics, reload procedures, and damage modeling that reflected actual World War II military equipment capabilities. The game established foundations for realistic military shooter design that influenced numerous subsequent World War II gaming experiences. The Source Engine Transition 2004-2007, Counter-Strike Condition Zero 2004, attempted to bridge the gap between Counter-Strike's multiplayer focus and single-player campaign experiences through a Tour of Duty mode featuring bot-based gameplay with progressive difficulty increases and specific objective challenges. The single-player content provided structured learning environments for players to develop Counter-Strike skills without the pressure of competing against experienced human opponents. Though the artificial intelligence could not replicate the psychological complexity and unpredictable tactical creativity of human players, the multiplayer component maintained Counter-Strike's core mechanics while incorporating updated graphics, additional weapon models, and enhanced map designs that took advantage of improved Gold SRK engine capabilities. Bot integration allowed offline practice sessions and custom scenario creation that extended the game's utility for competitive training and casual experimentation. Despite these enhancements, Condition Zero failed to achieve the cultural impact of its predecessor, serving primarily as an iterative improvement rather than revolutionary advancement. Counter-Strike Source 2004 represented Valve's first complete game implementation using the new Source engine, rebuilding Counter-Strike's core gameplay systems with advanced physics simulation, improved graphics rendering, and enhanced networking capabilities. The physics integration fundamentally altered tactical possibilities by making environmental objects interactive elements that could provide cover, create obstacles, or serve as impromptu weapons through the game's realistic object simulation systems. Barrels, boxes, tables, and other map elements became tactical tools rather than static decorative features, adding new strategic considerations to established map layouts. The technical transition from Gold SRK to Source required complete reconstruction of weapon mechanics, movement systems, and network protocols while maintaining the precise gameplay balance that made Counter-Strike competitively viable. Visual improvements included dynamic lighting effects, realistic water simulation, and detailed character animations that enhanced environmental immersion without compromising the tactical clarity essential for competitive play. The game maintained Counter-Strike's fundamental appeal while demonstrating Source engine capabilities that would influence Valve's subsequent game development projects. Half-Life 2 2004 revolutionized physics-based gameplay through the Gravity Gun, a tool that transformed environmental objects into interactive elements for puzzle solving, combat applications, and world exploration. The weapon's implementation demonstrated Source engine physics capabilities by allowing players to manipulate virtually any object within the game world, creating emergent gameplay scenarios where creative problem-solving often provided multiple solutions to environmental challenges. The Gravity Gun transcended traditional weapon classifications by serving simultaneously as combat tool, puzzle-solving device, and world interaction mechanism that fundamentally changed player relationships with game environments. The game's narrative structure continued Half-Life's integration of storytelling with gameplay mechanics while expanding environmental scope from the confined Black Mesa facility to the broader dystopian world under Combine occupation. City 17's oppressive atmosphere emerged through environmental details, architectural design, and subtle character interactions that communicated the alien occupation's psychological impact on human survivors without relying on exposition-heavy dialogue sequences. Technical achievements included revolutionary facial animation systems, realistic water simulation, and advanced lighting effects that established new standards for environmental immersion in first-person gaming experiences. Half-Life 2 Deathmatch 2004 translated Half-Life 2's physics-driven combat mechanics into multiplayer competitive scenarios where environmental objects became weapons through gravity gun manipulation and realistic physics interactions. Players could weaponize virtually any environmental element, from simple boxes and barrels to larger objects like radiators and furniture, creating dynamic combat scenarios where map familiarity extended beyond traditional weapon spawn knowledge to encompass understanding of available improvised weaponry throughout each battleground. The multiplayer implementation showcased Source Engine networking capabilities for synchronizing complex physics calculations across multiple simultaneous players, ensuring that object interactions remain consistent and predictable for all participants. Gravity gun battles created unique tactical scenarios where traditional first-person shooter skills combined with creative environmental manipulation and physics-based problem-solving. The game demonstrated potential for physics-driven multiplayer gameplay while maintaining fast-paced action that appealed to traditional shooter audiences. Half-Life 2: Lost Coast 2005 served as a technical demonstration for high dynamic range HDR lighting technology within the Source Engine, presenting a single comprehensive level designed specifically to showcase advanced visual rendering capabilities rather than providing substantial narrative content. The demonstration featured realistic lighting transitions, enhanced environmental atmosphere, and improved visual fidelity that established new standards for game graphics quality while providing developers with practical examples of HDR implementation techniques. The level design emphasized visual spectacle through dramatic lighting scenarios that highlighted HDR technology's capability to simulate realistic brightness ranges and atmospheric effects that were impossible with previous graphics rendering systems. Technical commentary throughout the demonstration provided insight into Valve's development processes and the specific programming challenges overcome to implement advanced lighting systems within existing Source Engine architecture. The Lost Coast represented Valve's commitment to technological advancement and their willingness to share development knowledge with the broader gaming community. Day of Defeat, Source, 2005, reconstructed the World War II multiplayer shooter using Source Engine capabilities, implementing enhanced physics simulation, improved graphics rendering, and upgraded audio design that created more immersive battlefield environments. The physics integration allowed realistic interactions with environmental objects, destructible cover elements, and more convincing ballistic effects that enhanced the tactical complexity of class-based combat scenarios. Weapon handling incorporated realistic recoil patterns, ballistic physics, and damage modeling that reflected actual World War II military equipment characteristics. The visual improvements included detailed character models, authentic environmental textures, and atmospheric effects that enhanced historical authenticity while maintaining the tactical clarity essential for competitive multiplayer gameplay. Sound design improvements provided realistic weapon audio, environmental acoustic effects, and communication systems that enhanced team coordination capabilities. The Source Engine transition preserved Day of Defeat's core gameplay appeal while demonstrating technical capabilities that influenced subsequent military shooter development across the gaming industry. Half-Life Source 2004-2005 ported the original Half-Life campaign to the Source Engine, keeping the story and level flow intact while adding Source-era upgrades like physics, updated rendering, and modern Steam integration. It functioned as a tech bridge between the Gold SRK era and Valve's full Source native releases, making the classic campaign play and feel more consistent with the studio's newer work. Half-Life Deathmatch Source 2006 brought the original Half-Life's multiplayer component to the Source Engine with updated graphics, enhanced physics, and improved networking capabilities while preserving the fast-paced combat mechanics that defined the original multiplayer experience. The update maintained classic weapon selection, map layouts, and gameplay pacing while incorporating Source Engine features like realistic physics interactions and improved visual presentation that enhanced competitive gameplay without fundamentally altering established mechanics. The technical transition required careful balance maintenance to preserve the precise weapon timing, movement mechanics, and tactical considerations that competitive Half-Life players had developed over years of gameplay refinement. Physics integration added new tactical possibilities through environmental object manipulation while ensuring that traditional gameplay strategies remain viable and effective. The Source port demonstrated Valve's commitment to preserving classic gameplay experiences while taking advantage of improved technology capabilities. The Orange Box Revolution 2006-2009, Half-Life 2 Episode 1 2006, expanded the Half-Life narrative immediately following the events of Half-Life 2, focusing on Gordon Freeman and Alex Vance's escape from the collapsing City 17 through enhanced cooperative AI systems that created dynamic partnership gameplay. Alex's advanced AI behavior enabled realistic collaborative puzzle solving, tactical combat coordination, and emotional storytelling that demonstrated Source Engine capabilities for sophisticated non-player character interactions. The episode format allowed focused narrative development and technical experimentation within shorter development cycles compared to full sequel production. The game's companion AI represented significant advancement in creating believable digital characters that could assist players effectively without feeling intrusive or overpowered in combat scenarios. Alex's programming included context-sensitive dialogue, adaptive combat behavior, and problem-solving assistance that enhanced gameplay without replacing player agency in critical decision-making moments. The episode structure enabled concentrated development attention on specific gameplay mechanics and narrative elements that informed subsequent Valve game design decisions. Half-Life 2 Episode 2, 2007 concluded the episodic Half-Life expansion series with large-scale outdoor environments, vehicle-based gameplay sequences, and climactic battles that showcase Source Engine capabilities for supporting expansive game worlds beyond the urban confines of previous series entries. The episode introduced new enemy types, expanded weapon selection, and environmental challenges that required creative application of physics-based problem-solving skills developed throughout the Half-Life series. Cooperative and competitive evolution, 2008, 2011. Left 4 Dead 2008 pioneered cooperative survival gaming through AI director systems that dynamically adjusted enemy spawning, item placement, and environmental challenges based on team performance and individual player behavior patterns. The director's sophisticated programming created unique gameplay experiences during repeated playthroughs by analyzing team coordination, individual skill levels, and tactical decision-making to provide appropriately challenging scenarios that maintained engagement without creating insurmountable obstacles. The 4-player cooperative structure required constant communication, mutual assistance, and strategic planning to survive against overwhelming infected hordes that could quickly eliminate isolated or uncoordinated players. Special infected enemies introduced tactical complications that required specific countermeasures and team coordination to overcome effectively, creating varied challenge scenarios that prevented repetitive gameplay patterns. The game's design emphasized collaborative success over individual achievement, establishing new standards for cooperative multiplayer experiences that influenced numerous subsequent survival game designs. Left 4 Dead 2, 2009, expanded the cooperative survival formula through enhanced weapon variety, expanded environmental interactions, and more sophisticated AI director capabilities that created increasingly complex survival scenarios across diverse geographical settings. The sequel introduced melee weapons, new special infected types, and environmental hazards that required adaptive tactical approaches and creative problem-solving beyond the original's relatively straightforward shooting mechanics. The expanded weapon selection provided tactical variety that encouraged experimentation with different combat approaches while maintaining the cooperative coordination essential to survival success. New special infected abilities created additional tactical challenges that required team communication and coordinated responses to overcome effectively. The game's mod support and Steam Workshop integration enabled extensive community content creation that sustained active player communities and provided virtually unlimited replay value through user-generated campaigns and modifications. Technical innovation period 2010-2013. Alien Swarm 2010 demonstrated Valve's commitment to community development by releasing a complete top-down cooperative shooter alongside comprehensive development tools and full source code access for educational and modification purposes. The game featured 4-player cooperative gameplay against alien infestations with class-based character selection, tactical coordination requirements, and challenging enemy encounters that required strategic planning and precise execution. The simultaneous release of complete source code and development tools provided unprecedented access to professional-quality game development resources for educational institutions, independent developers, and modding communities. This approach demonstrated Valve's philosophy of supporting community creativity and technical education while showcasing Source Engine flexibility for non-traditional game perspectives and gameplay styles beyond first-person experiences. Portal 2 2011 expanded the Portal puzzle concept through sophisticated cooperative gameplay modes, extensive single-player campaigns, and advanced puzzle mechanics that demonstrated Source Engine capabilities for complex environmental interactions and narrative integration. The cooperative campaign required 2 players working together to solve intricate puzzles that were impossible for individual players to complete, creating unique gameplay experiences that emphasized communication, trust, and collaborative problem-solving skills. The single-player campaign provided extensive narrative development, exploring Portal's universe while introducing new puzzle mechanics including light bridges, excursion funnels, and various gel substances that modified surface properties and environmental interactions. GLaDOS returned as the primary antagonist with expanded personality development and more sophisticated dialogue systems that provided emotional depth alongside mechanical challenge progression. The game's level editor and Steam Workshop integration enabled community puzzle creation that provided virtually unlimited additional content beyond the official campaign materials. Counter-Strike Global Offensive launched in 2012 as the next mainline Counter-Strike entry and became the backbone of Valve's competitive scene for a decade. In September 2023, Valve upgraded the live app to Counter-Strike 2, moving the game to Source 2 and overhauling core systems, subtick networking, responsive smokes with real volumetrics, revamped audio, lighting, and maps, while carrying forward CS's 5v5, objective-based structure. In practice, players migrated in place. CS:GO became CS2, inventories persisted, and the competitive ecosystem kept rolling under the new tech. Dota 2, 2013, represented Valve's entry into the multiplayer online battle arena genre through a complete reconstruction of the original Defense of the Ancients mod with enhanced graphics, improved networking, professional competitive infrastructure, and comprehensive spectator features that established new standards for esports presentation and viewer engagement. The game maintained the complex strategic depth and mechanical precision that made the original mod competitively viable while implementing professional features necessary for sustainable esports ecosystems. The technical implementation provided stable networking for 10 simultaneous players competing in strategically complex matches that could extend for over an hour with minimal latency or synchronization issues. The game's free-to-play model demonstrated successful monetization through cosmetic items and battle pass systems without compromising competitive balance or requiring players to purchase gameplay advantages. International championship tournaments established unprecedented prize pools and professional gaming legitimacy that influenced the entire esports industry's development trajectory. Virtual Reality Breakthrough 2016-2020. The Lab 2016 served as Valve's introduction to virtual reality game development through a collection of minigames and interactive experiences designed to demonstrate VR technology capabilities while providing accessible entry points for new VR users. The experiences ranged from archery simulations and robot repair scenarios to secret shop environments that showcased different aspects of VR interaction design and spatial gaming possibilities. Each minigame explored specific VR mechanics including hand tracking, spatial awareness, and physical interaction systems that informed subsequent VR game development projects. The technical implementation demonstrated Source 2 engine capabilities for supporting room-scale VR experiences with precise hand tracking, realistic physics interactions, and immersive environmental audio that created convincing virtual presence. The collection served as both entertainment content and technical proof of concept for VR gaming viability while providing valuable user experience data that influenced Valve's subsequent VR hardware and software development decisions. Destinations 2016 explored photogrammetry-based virtual tourism through highly detailed reconstructions of real-world locations that users could explore using VR technology, demonstrating potential applications for virtual travel, education, and cultural preservation. The application enabled users to visit famous landmarks, historical sites, and natural wonders with unprecedented visual fidelity and spatial accuracy that created convincing experiences of actually visiting distant locations. The technical implementation showcased advanced 3D scanning and environmental reconstruction capabilities that created detailed virtual environments from real-world photography and spatial measurement data. The project evolved into Steam VR Home, demonstrating Valve's iterative development approach and their willingness to transform experimental projects into practical utility applications that enhance the overall VR user experience. Modern Era Developments 2018-2025. Artifact 2018 attempted to translate Dota 2's strategic complexity into digital card game format through sophisticated mechanics, professional competitive features, and integration with established Dota universe lore and character designs. The game featured complex resource management, multi-lane battlefield mechanics, and strategic depth that required extensive learning and practice to master effectively. Despite innovative design elements and professional presentation quality, the game failed to achieve sustainable player populations or competitive viability. Valve attempted a complete overhaul called Artifact Foundry, Artifact 2.0 that entered closed beta in 2020 with significantly reworked mechanics, economy, and accessibility features. On March 4, 2021, Valve ended development, removed monetization, and made both Artifact Classic and the unfinished Foundry build free to everyone, acknowledging they could not find a path forward that achieved their goals. The failed project demonstrated challenges inherent in translating successful game concepts across different genres and platforms while highlighting the difficulty of establishing new competitive gaming ecosystems in saturated markets. Dota Underlords 2019 capitalized on the auto-battler genre popularized by community mods, implementing Valve's professional development standards, Dota Universe integration, and cross-platform availability for both PC and mobile devices. The game featured automated combat with strategic unit placement, economic resource management, and competitive ranking systems that provided progression incentives and skill-based matchmaking. The mobile implementation demonstrated Valve's technical capabilities for cross-platform development while expanding their audience reach beyond traditional PC gaming markets. Despite solid technical implementation and strategic gameplay depth, the game struggled to maintain player engagement against established auto-battler competitors, illustrating challenges of entering mature competitive markets even with superior technical execution. Half-Life: Alyx 2020 represented Valve's triumphant return to the Half-Life series through groundbreaking virtual reality implementation that demonstrated VR technology's potential for delivering compelling narrative experiences comparable to traditional gaming formats. The game featured unprecedented VR interaction systems, realistic physics simulation, and environmental immersion that created convincing virtual presence while maintaining the narrative quality and gameplay depth characteristic of the Half-Life series. The technical implementation showcased Source 2 engine optimization for VR requirements, including high frame rate maintenance, precise hand tracking, and realistic physics interactions that enabled natural environmental manipulation and puzzle solving through intuitive physical actions. The Gravity Gloves provided accessible object interaction mechanics that eliminated common VR usability challenges while maintaining immersion and gameplay sophistication. The game's critical acclaim and commercial success validated VR as a viable platform for premium gaming experiences while establishing new standards for VR interaction design and narrative integration. Aperture Desk Job 2022 served as a brief interactive experience designed specifically for Steam Deck hardware demonstration, featuring Portal Universe humor and simple gameplay mechanics that showcased the handheld device's control capabilities and performance characteristics. The experience provided accessible introduction to Steam Deck functionality while delivering characteristic Portal series, writing quality and environmental design standards within a compact, focused presentation. The project demonstrated Valve's commitment to creating content that specifically showcased their hardware capabilities while providing entertainment value for users exploring new platform features. The Portal Universe integration maintained narrative consistency while introducing Steam Deck users to the device's unique control options and gaming possibilities. Current development and future prospects. Deadlock 2024 present represents Valve's ambitious fusion of hero shooter and multiplayer online battle arena gameplay mechanics, featuring 6 vs 6 team battles across large maps with multiple lanes, tower defense elements, and character progression systems that combine individual skill development with strategic team coordination. The game's development demonstrates Valve's continued innovation in multiplayer gaming, while attempting to establish new competitive gaming categories that bridge existing genre boundaries. The technical implementation utilizes Source 2 engine capabilities for supporting complex multiplayer battles with sophisticated character abilities, environmental destruction, and strategic map control elements that require both individual mechanical skill and coordinated team strategy. Early playtesting has generated significant community interest despite the game's invitation-only availability, demonstrating continued market appetite for innovative Valve multiplayer experiences. The project represents Valve's most ambitious multiplayer gaming initiative since Dota 2, with potential to influence competitive gaming development across the industry.